Welcome to the Performance Portfolio Podcast with Coop and Coop. Greg Cooper is the owner of Cooper Performance Coaching and lead instructor at Kodakwai Judo Club in Edmonton, Alberta. He is on the lifelong pursuit of helping others increase their performance. Cooper Allen is a top financial advisor from Barrie, Ontario, whose focus is empowering everyday families with advice, leadership, and tools that we should have been given in school. Together, they bridge the gap between performance and finance to help you create your own robust performance portfolio. With that, let's get into today's episode.
Coop, how's it going, my friend?
Good, Greg. How you doing?
Excellent. So today, I wanted to talk about one of life's most important resources. Any guesses?
I got nothing. I was gonna make a sarcastic comment, but
I was hoping you were gonna.
no, not super PG for on air. But no, what do you want to cover? Let's hit me. I'm
Well,
curious.
all jokes aside, we're going to talk about time and investing time. People often talk about spending time, but I think it's the wrong way to frame that. When you spend things, it creates a negative connotation. Oh, I'm spending money. Oh, I'm spending this time. But what are we investing our time in? How are you investing your time to increase your financial literacy? How are you investing your time to lose that 10 pounds, to in, to get yourself closer to your big 10-year goal? So today, it's about time.
I'm looking forward to that because I know we've touched on it briefly across a few different episodes, but we've never had a full episode on what does your schedule look like? How do you maximize time? What's your perspective on it? So it should be a good one today.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. It's been something I've been talking to a ton of my clients lately, like not planned or anything. When I talk to my performance clients, it's very much they drive the bus. What's on their mind? What are they thinking? What are they feeling? Um, and almost all of them, in one way or another, like we came back to time and utilizing it, optimizing it, why it feels like they're wasting it. So I want to start with a question on you because I feel like an area where a lot of people misuse their time is in areas that can bring them to financial freedom or, areas that just revolve around their money as well. So in your world, when you're talking to people, where do you see people mismanaging their time when it comes to financial goals or financial literacy?
It's a great question, and I want to pre-frame that I think there's probably a couple people who've started this episode already that have already shut it off because they're so trapped in the victim mentality of I'm too busy, I don't have time. These guys are just going to tell me all the areas that I actually can't cut out, and you have to, when it comes to this type of message, whether it's around your financial budget or around your time budget, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. You have to be willing to hear the message and hearing it from a place of not, oh, I'm not good enough, or I guess I just suck at time management then. First of all, it's not about time management. It's about time prioritization. And the only way you're going to be able to have time prioritization is if you can hear the message through the lens of how do I make my life more effective and more efficient, not hearing the message as here's where I'm not good enough. Greg, to directly answer your question, the mistake that a lot of advisors make, the reason they can't connect with people in today's age, and the reason there is this barrier of entry it's not really real, but it's real enough that perception becomes reality, is the barrier to a lot of people getting into finance is they don't want to sit with a guy in a suit and tie that's going to tell them, well, stop drinking your Starbucks or stop going out with the boys on the weekend so that you can afford to retire one day by investing all your money with me. Through the same lens, this episode today is not going to be an episode of here's how you need to max out every single hour towards making money or towards your personal health. So for me, when it comes to financial budgeting, it's as simple as what's coming in the door for your income, what's going out work to keep the lights on and pay your bills. So you've got your income and your bills. After that creates your discretionary income. Of that discretionary income, how much of it do you want to go towards financial planning goals versus how much of it do you want to go towards just lifestyle, miscellaneous spending, whatever falls in that bucket? It's none of my business as an advisor as to where that miscellaneous money is going. Whether it's your kids, whether it's junk food, whether it's gambling, whatever, everybody's got their own vices. It's not up to me to judge. In the same way with time, one of the things in that bracket on, I guess going back to the financial side, is the concept of pay yourself first. So, okay, I've got my income, I've got my bills. Then before I just decide to split on financial planning and discretionary, what's the amount that I can set and forget, even if it's 25 bucks a month, but what's the amount that you can include in your bills as a set it and forget it, treat it like a bill, don't look at it for 20, 30 years. In the same way with your time, there's got to be some non-negotiables. So that to me is the overlap of paying yourself first isn't just picking up an overtime shift at work. Paying yourself first could be mental health time. And one of the things about so many times people end up spending 20, 30, 40 hours a week on mental health related things, but it's not proactive, it's reactive. And if they actually spent more like 3 to 5 to 10 hours on proactive family time, proactive time with their spouse, proactive time on their health, mental or physical, then they wouldn't have to do 20, 30, 40 hours of vegging out in social media and things of that nature to just shut their brain off because they've paid themselves first in their health as well. So I could dive a little bit deeper in terms of how I kind of view my week and structure it, but that's the at least the baseline answer to that question.
Yeah, I love that you said pay yourself first. It's something that I think a lot of people have heard, but never has really been explained to everybody. And on the basis of time and our goals, I indirectly talk to my clients and talk to anybody who comes to me for questions about that same principle where, look, I'm going to reframe that. They ask me, is that the right thing to do? Is this goal good? Yeah, it's yours. It's not mine. Doesn't matter what I think. Doesn't matter what your neighbor thinks. It doesn't matter what anybody thinks. Because no matter what, I say something, there's going to be some people that go, yeah, that's awesome. I agree. That's a great goal. And there's going to be other people that go, that's impossible. You're a lunatic. Then there's going to be other people that think I'm a huge loser because I'm not thinking big enough. So no matter what, we're going to get some good feedback, some so-so feedback, and some completely negative feedback that might make us want to change our everything. So when it comes to that, it's about you. Pay yourself first. It's your goals. So when I talk about time with my clients, it's, well, what should I do with my time? Well, should is a powerful word, and we've talked about this before. Should is now giving me the opportunity to impose what I do. What I do doesn't work for everybody. So I frame it in a way where, okay, you're worried about wasting time and not investing it properly because your goals are very big and you need to do big movements or small actions even, but you need to make action to get there. So the one strategy I'm going to give right away here is using gym time, let's say. Now, I understand some people work at a box gym and they don't want to be disruptive, but you go to the gym for an hour and a half, let's say. How much time, Coop, in that hour and a half do you think you're actively moving weights and in the work if you're there for an hour and a half?
No more than half of it.
Yes, so let's say 45 minutes, maybe. Right? So that means there's 45 minutes of idle time. But you've framed it of that's an hour and a half I'm spending at the gym. Yes. But only 45 minutes was used. So that means you have 45 minutes of time in that time block that you can either waste or you can reinvest. So if you're at a box gym, you're not going to bring your laptop and a bunch of stuff because that probably doesn't make sense. But a lot of box gyms do have tables to the side. So if you finish a set, Go off, go on your phone, or pull up your laptop in the change room, do work for 5 minutes, then go back to the next set, and then go through. And I have my students do this at our gym. Now, our gym at the dojo, it's ours. Go do a heavy set, do 5 minutes of homework. Go back to the heavy set, 5 minutes of homework. And in the 2 hours they're in the gym, they've now erased that idle time, got a great workout, done all their homework. Now they can go reinvest the 45 minutes they gained and go play Xbox with their friends or go hang out with their family or do whatever they want. I don't really care. It's their time to use. But now they're getting so much more done by just shifting how they're using time, and opposed to like, oh yeah, no, I definitely am at the office for 8 hours a day. You probably only work three of those, unless you're in meetings back to back to back. You're fiddling on your phone, you're texting, you're sending memes, you're sending reels. So we can find time to reinvest within our schedule without having to make sacrifices or completely erase things out. It's just being a little bit more creative with how we think about it. And this is a conversation I've had with like 5 of my clients this week, and all unique, and they all prompted it, which was kind of really funny how the universe works that way.
For sure. And I think the biggest area that people need to unlearn to that point, Greg, when it comes to time is we went to school Monday to Friday, 9 to 3, 8 to 3, whatever each person's schedule looked like. You got your weekends off, your evenings were for homework, and then you get into the real world and it's the same thing. Like your recess turns into your lunch break at work, and it was all very structured and I need to do this at this specific time, as opposed to there's 168 hours in a week. I'm gonna sleep for, I mean, the science, and if anyone knows more about this than I do, you can call me out on it, but the science shows in terms of REM cycles, it's actually better to sleep for 7.5 hours than it is for 8. So if you budget 8 hours in to go sleep and it takes you 30 minutes to fall asleep, okay, 8 hours a day, there's 56 hours gone. So if you're 168, now you're down to 112. Let's say you want to throw an hour a day in for some sort of evening routine where you're just hanging out with your spouse, no screen time, or some sort of meditation or something that helps you sleep better. There's another 7 hours, you're down to 105 hours left in your week. Well, now let's say you want to put 2 hours in, driving to the gym, working out, showering afterwards, maybe having a bite to eat, 2 hours a day, 7 days a week. Most people are in the gym 7 days a week, but let's say there's another 14. Now you're down to 91 hours. Let's say you're taking 30 minutes for lunch and 30 minutes for dinner every day. There's another 7 hours. You still have 84 left. So even if you're working a 40-hour work week, we've factored in 40-hour work week, 8 hours of sleep at night, an hour of winding down, working out every single day, and a 40-hour work week, and there's still 44 hours left over. So yeah, I get that you got to do adult things. You got to do laundry, you got to meal prep, all that type of stuff. Going back to your example, Greg, if people think that's a little bit extreme, like, hey, the gym is my zone. I don't want to do anything extra. I just want to be there, be present, focus on me, get the most of this workout, recover, etc. Okay, what about the rest of your life? Stop saying that laundry takes an hour to do. Laundry takes 2 minutes to put it in, and then while the machine is going, that's not laundry time. You could be meal prepping in that time. You could spend 20 minutes and set your grocery order and actually order it to your door. And then, or you could set and say, okay, I'm going to do laundry at this time. And I know I'm going to put it in. So I want the grocery order to come at that time so I can unload the groceries and I can start my meal prep. And just go structure out like, hey, here's all the tasks. If it was business, if you treated your household like a business, you'd say, what are all the tasks that need to get done in a week? And you'd write them down. And then you'd go look at your time as if it was a budget and go, how do I compact as many activities as possible? Let's say you work 9 to 5, you get home by 6, you have dinner, whatever, it's now 7 o'clock. Doesn't it make sense to get all of your chores done on one evening a week from 7 to 10 so they're just done and over with? Your laundry, your meal prep, everything. So that the next night you can work on your business, and then the next night you can hang with your kids, and then the next night you can have a date night with your spouse, and the next night you can prioritize yourself, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And you can check all of the boxes of things that are important to you versus, oh, it's 7 o'clock and I'm going to throw the laundry in, and the wash is going to be done by 7:45, and then the dryer is going to be done at 9, and I'm going to sit on the couch with my coffee in hand, and I'm going to have a coffee at 8 p.m. and then wonder why I can't sleep. Or I'm going to sit here and have a couple beers and wonder why my sleep is off. But in my mind, it's not relaxed time because I'm thinking about the fact that the washing machine is going to go off any time now, and I got a timer on my phone. So in that same hour and a half, instead of doing 3 or 4 different tasks, you just did laundry. And then the other tasks that you could have been doing in that time carry over to the next night. Same two people, usually the one that's more productive actually isn't the one to say that they're busy. Usually it's the one vegging out on the couch while they're waiting for their tasks to be done that's saying they're busy. While they're not meal prepping clean food, they're just throwing something frozen in the oven.
I got to go back to something you said first. We might get canceled for this, but Coop, are you telling me that the Canadian public school system has been grooming us to run the hamster wheel our whole lives? What? Sorry, I had to.
Yeah.
um,
And it's not
but
even like forget the down the rabbit hole of conspiracy. Like at a base level, just
it's cut and dry the way you laid it out, man. It's totally true. But much to your point, your more serious point, I love that you broke down the hours because I do this as well, and it's the earn time. And yes, my gym example is probably pretty extreme for a lot of people, especially. I'm gonna just add a caveat. Like I said, at a box gym, you're not gonna be that arrogant person that is like has all this stuff with them. But if you do that, if you're at a box gym, do your set and then don't do it on the bench or on the like go there's tables to the side if you're going to employ that strategy, or just don't do it there because yeah, you just want that time to just be in the gym and just hang out and be in the environment. Got it. But I love that you brought up the laundry example because that's about gamifying your life. I talk about timers all the time, and we've talked about it on other podcasts where it's like I set a timer when I'm at the desk and it's just solely focused on emails. Boom. 20-minute timer goes off, bang, I'm done. Then I do a shift. I go for a walk, I do some push-ups, whatever. I make a shift and then I do a different task. But yeah, you throw the laundry in, great. I have an hour. The cycle takes an hour. Push that start button, go. And have a task ready and race the laundry machine. The laundry machine's going to be done in an hour. What can you accomplish in that hour? And it can be family time. It could be work related. It could be whatever is important to you. But it's not these tasks like laundry that are the mundane things that just need to get done. We can use them as a gamifying object in our life to start investing that time differently and not just thinking, oh, I only can do this one thing. Now, I'm a firm believer that for most people, and I'm talking like 95%, multitasking is not the right strategy. Don't try to do your emails and another work-related thing on your computer because now you're going to get lost in the void of the other things on your computer because you're going to be clicking. When I'm stacking tasks in a way where it's like the laundry or the gym and my emails are two vastly different modalities of things. So I'm not going to get lost in the space of, ooh, there's this other thing I can do on my computer, or, oh, start floating away. No, it's email, set, or laundry, email, or laundry, meal prep. So they're two different things. And then this way you're not getting caught in a productivity trap in quotations that you feel like you're doing busy work, but that's all it is. It's just keeping busy moving, but you really didn't do anything. And now you're just spinning your tires again. And you're exactly where you were an hour earlier when the laundry started. And guess what? Now the laundry machine was more productive than you.
Exactly. And the reality is that, I mean, if you're dealing with high net worth people and your philosophy is, hey, my phone's always got to be on, because prompt service is important. then maybe this, what I'm about to say, doesn't apply. Having said that, though, if you are dealing with high net worth people, you should also have calls that are coming into your phone also forwarded to an assistant who then can screen. And then maybe your phone sits on do not disturb for everyone except for your assistant. And your assistant can buzz you and go, hey, so and so that's important is calling. You should get back to them within the next 5, 10, 15 minutes. Other than that, the majority of people should be treating their text message, their DMs, like an email. And there's times I'll say that to people, and then they hear that as like, oh, okay, I'll just check it a couple times a week. And then they're the hardest people to get a hold of because they take it way too literally. It's like, no, no, no. If you're good at what you do, you check your email at the start of the day and the end of the day. That's it. Same thing with your phone. Check it at the start of your workday, the end of your workday. And get back to people ideally within the day, 2 days max. Uh, but realistically, like, why so many times people be in the middle of a task and then I remember being in university, and that's what a bunch of us would do anytime we wouldn't want to study. That was always the cleanest our house would ever be. Because we'd start cleaning. We'd start doing stuff we avoided doing the whole year because we didn't want to study. Or we'd go, what I would have to start doing is I'd have to start putting my phone in a different room so I could dial in. Because usually we'd throw up some content on social media, send a Snapchat out to everybody on Snapchat, or put up an Instagram story or Facebook post or something, so that I could sit here as I'm studying because I don't want to with my phone next to me. So it's like ding, ding, ding. So now I can study for 30 seconds, and when I get bored of it, have this sitting here.
I think the first time every man cleaned baseboards in their house was when they were in university, not wanting to study. Um, yeah, and to that point, I thought of this quote and I just pulled it up because it's from one of my favorite shows, Billions, Bobby Axelrod. It's a banger, and there's a point to this. But the quote goes, "The greats never sacrifice the important for the urgent. They handle the immediate problem and still make sure to secure the future."
It's interesting you say that because I've literally in Microsoft To Do on my phone, my three buckets are time sensitive, important, and rainy day tasks and ideas. And I've got 18 things in rainy day tasks. I've got 10 things under important. I have three things in time sensitive. So what are the three things that I'm going to do today or tomorrow? Pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
And people look at, well, Coop, you're an Excel nerd, or you're this, or that's overkill, or whatever. It's like, yeah, maybe it is overkill, but I'd rather be overkill on this side as opposed to overkill on the lazy,
Yeah.
disorganized, inefficient side. Because what gets tracked can be changed, what gets measured gets managed. It's as
Mhm.
simple as that.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, it's you and me talk about our different buckets all the time. And for me, it's the power list, the big three, the whirlpool, right? And I have the whirlpool. So it's like, it's the daily whirlpool. What is the stuff that can suck you down and like, right? So I put that list on there. It's on my laptop, it's on my phone, it's in my notebooks. I like to track things. I have couple different notebooks. I have my notes and my reminders on my phone. I have another little pocket notebook. Like I track stuff. But it doesn't need to be as, yeah, far to that side as I do it or you do it. But by having that time or I just blanked. What was your third one? The not time sensitive or important
Yeah, rainy day.
rainy day. Sorry. Thank you. Right. The rainy day or the whirlpool. That is almost the important list, because it keeps, if you're a power list person, it keeps the power list impactful, and it doesn't get it run the risk of turning it into a to-do list, which that'll happen. We'll all go through seasons where it's like just turns into that dopamine checklist. It's, the power list used to be very specific, and now it's laundry. It's like five things that you're absolutely going to do that day. That's fine. But if you have that whirlpool list or that rainy day list or that whatever you want to call it list, then your time sensitive lists, your lists that are directly tied to your goals, which for me, that's my big three, will always have impact. And they're going to be hard to complete. And they're going to be more impactful. And then when you do those 5 things on your power list and the 3 things on your weekly big 3, that is 8 things that move the needle forward so fully. And only after I complete those things or start, getting 2 or 3 of them, then I'll go, okay, I need a shift. I've been really grinding it because it's not just about grinding. Great. Now I'm going to go do a couple whirlpool things because sometimes they're more enjoyable. And sometimes it is a simple thing. Like I'm going to clean the house, but I'm going to set that timer and race the laundry machine doing it because now my house is clean. That feels good. But I didn't go down the rabbit hole of the OCD. I'm avoiding studying and work and my responsibilities. So I'm going to get on my hands and knees and scrub every board individually. It's clean the house, move on, boom. Now I'm going forward. So having a structure like that is so important. And it's such a simple tool anybody can do. Use your notes on your phone, use your Microsoft To Do. If you like writing things down like me, get a book that's $5 at Staples. You don't need a fancy notebook cover and all this stuff. If that's your jam, go for it. But you could just have a notepad, a scratch pad that you carry with you. Track these things and start looking, where are you actually investing your time or where are you wasting it? And then you'll start being able to create a structure that doesn't get overwhelming. And especially for people that can't, like, I can't have every hour of my day structured out. For most people, that is very, very unrealistic. Even for me, the only things in my day that are truly structured are meetings, coaching time, and if something pops up that's urgent, I will block that hour off. Like, hey, this person needs my help, or this situation needs my help. I'm going to block that off. Other than that, it's doing what's important when I can, when it works, when it makes sense, in a priority structure. So it's a pseudo structure that doesn't make you feel like you're trapped by your calendar, because that is also can turn into just not doing anything.
For sure. And I'm going to say something it's going to sound like I'm disagreeing with you, but I feel like it's along the same wavelength. I'll get to that in a minute. The first thing I want to touch on based on what you said is it needs to be simple enough that you're going to do it, but intentional enough that it's going to make a difference. So there's a lot of things in life, and this is no different, that they're simple, but they're not easy. And it's so simple to do them that it's so simple not to do them. So you got to create it. Yeah, if 75 Excel sheets and 3 different phone apps is going to overwhelm you, for some people that's going to help them. For some people it's going to overwhelm them. It's a self-awareness thing. The one thing, Greg, that you said, I've historically probably on this podcast a million times said, hey, you don't have to do it exactly this way, or you don't have to go to the extreme of what Greg does or that I do, or I think I'm gonna stop saying that, because the reality is that you probably do. If you don't have the body that you want, you don't have the bank account that you want, you don't have the happiness and peace in your home that you want, maybe you should start getting a little bit more extreme in how you track your finances and how you track your time. Let's start there. If you're comfortable being busy, being overwhelmed, being anxious all the time, by all means. But that's not normal. Society has conditioned us to think that that's normal, but we've got suicide rates at all-time highs. We've got divorce rates at all-time highs. We've got consumer debt at all-time highs. And the attitude in society is, well, what's the point? Why would I budget my time? Why would I budget my money? Because you need to not be a statistic. So try it. And if it's overwhelming, of course it's overwhelming. It's supposed to be. It's like riding a bike for the first time. But a month in, the self-awareness, it's super painful for people who've never tracked their money to start tracking their money. It's super weird and eye-opening when you start tracking your time. You can start to feel the guilt and shame that I talked about at the top of the episode, but you got to just remember that as you're tracking it to gather data. You're not tracking it to beat yourself up. Think of like maybe when you were in school and you do a research paper or something. If all you're doing on your life is gathering data, eventually you get to a point where you've gathered enough data on yourself and your life that you're aware enough to be able to start making some changes. And not from a place of restriction or not from a place of guilt or shame, but just from a place of, hey, it's a dog eat dog world out there right now. It's not a great place. Social media is a dumpster fire. The economy is not looking much better. So to get different results, or even to get the same results as our parents' generation in different times, it's going to require different thinking. So I don't have any sympathy for people who complain about having no time or no money if they don't have a time budget or a financial budget. It's one of the only things left in the world, Greg, that we can actually control. And that's, I think, the problem. A lot of the mental health and a lot of the fear and the angst that people feel is they see all this stuff in the news and they want it to end and they want to make a difference and they want a good community, but they have no idea how they can actually change it. It's like, okay, I can't just grab a pitchfork and go on the streets, can I? No, you start in your own home by mastering self and not being perfect, but at least gathering enough data to be able to start making some changes because you don't change your community first, you change yourself and then you change your home and then you start to influence your community. I couldn't have these conversations with you if I wasn't tracking my time and tracking my money and doing all these things. This isn't ChatGPT theory. This is practical in life. This is me actually having a conversation with Josh Kosnick while my wife was pregnant with our girls, saying, hey, dude, how do I build a business, be the husband I need to be, and be the father I need to be? Where he talked to me about exactly what we're talking about today. We had this conversation start of 2023, where he said, dude, if you're not executing the power list, it's not optional for you anymore. Because if you don't execute it, then you're going to go home. And while you're trying to be a dad, you're thinking about work. And then you weren't a good enough dad. So you're going to get back to work and you're going to be thinking about how you weren't a great dad because you weren't super present because you were thinking about work. And now you're just in this guilt shame cycle and wondering if any of it's even worth it. And shocker, the times I don't do that, that's exactly how I feel. And when the times that I'm dialed in are the times that my mental health is on the up and up. And irregardless of all that, yeah, whether business is great or not, whether family is great or not, it's kind of less about that and more so about how am I feeling mentally, physically, emotionally as I'm going through it, which is the most important part. So, hey, if you're not on your A game mentally, physically, financially, emotionally, then yeah, this stuff matters. You got to do this stuff. You got to have the discomfort of making it happen. So, yeah, maybe a little bit of a different approach than normal, but I'm so disheartened by seeing people just give up before they even try.
To the listeners, when Coop gets assertive like that, listen. He's the happy-go-lucky guy. He's not the drill sergeant. No, I love that, man, and it made me think of, to kind of echo your words here, of something I say to a lot of people when they ask me, how can I improve? How can I do this? You got to be willing to feel uncomfortable, to feel like you're tired at the end of the day, because change is that. Change is forcing yourself to step outside of your comfort zone. If you want to gain 10 pounds of lean muscle mass, guess what? You're going to be sore when you leave the gym. If you're not causing enough stimulus to give your body a reason to change. If you don't feel a little overwhelmed or guilty about how you were operating in the past, when you start looking at what you're doing with your time and how you're investing it, you're clearly not making a change. And if you're not willing to be uncomfortable physically, I'm going to say mentally, because it's going to happen. Change will make you feel uncomfortable mentally, not to the point where it's going to cause mental anguish. Then that's a different thing. But, physical, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, there should be a shift where you feel a little uncomfortable in those zones at times. And if you're not forcing that shift, you cannot complain. You cannot bitch about things that aren't changing in your life. Just be fine with where you're at, whether you're
Exactly.
happy about it or not. But you can't complain to me or your family or your friends about it unless you're visibly and actionably making that change with how you use your time and what you're doing with it. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it any better. The reality is not everyone has to be a high performer, but if you're not putting the steps in to be a high performer, you don't get to complain about not being a high performer. In life, you get lives that others don't by doing the work that others won't.
Mhm.
It's that simple. If you're not putting in the work to, and not just the run through a wall head first, 12-hour days, 7 days a week, but working smarter. There's an element of that as well. Maybe you don't have the capacity to put in 12-hour days uh, and all that type of stuff. But if you don't have the capacity to work super hard, then you do need to
I
take
think
what
they're
we talked
lying.
about.
Everybody has that capacity.
Right. Now, having said that, if you're convincing yourself that you don't have that capacity or that it's going to quote unquote burn you out, burnout isn't from working hard. Burnout is from lack of time scheduling. And there's two things I'll close on, Greg, before I turn it back to you, is you had mentioned having an open calendar. I actually, when it comes to the standard 9 to 5 person, I actually do believe every hour should be pre-scheduled. What I agree with you on is that I don't think it should be pre-scheduled. Here's the exact task that I have to do. Where now it's so rigid that life is boring. There's no variety. So it's kind of balancing Tony Robbins. How do I get the certainty that I need and the variety that I need? Well, okay, so you've got the set things that pay yourself first. Kind of goes back to finance, right? Is you've got your bills and your pay yourself first. It's part of the bills, and then you've got miscellaneous. Well, miscellaneous does, in my opinion, should go into your calendar. It just doesn't have to be a specific task. So your meetings and your powerless stuff is like your pay yourself first. Your miscellaneous gets split up into, okay, maybe I've got 10 a.m. To noon open today. Well, instead of leaving it blank, because if it's left blank, you're going to scroll your phone for 9 out of 10 people that are listening to this. Maybe just in the calendar, put me time. So then at that point, you can choose whatever you want to do. And then you don't feel bad about sitting there scrolling your phone because you had me time pre-scheduled in. You paid yourself first in your mental health and your break. Or put in a specific time, maybe you don't have meetings, put, okay, from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m., that block that I have open, just put power list. So then you go look at your power list, and that's when you bang out everything is in those couple hours. So you can still fill those blank spaces with me time, with power list time, with your. There's been times where had a calendar event that said um, rainy day tasks or spouse time, depending on how Nat's feeling. So then when that time comes and we put the girls down to bed, I'm like, hey, do you want to watch a show like on your own right now and kind of just chill and maybe you're overstimulated today. You kind of just want to be on your own. You don't want me there. Or do you want to hang out? And if she's like, yeah, you know what? I'd rather just have a glass of wine and throw on my show. Okay, perfect. Now I'll go into my rainy day list and go back up to the office and crush some things out. Uh, so you can have fluidity and structure all at the same time with the right mindset is kind of my first point. And then the second point is you're either going to run towards pleasure or you're going to run from pain. So when it comes to executing anything in this specific episode, the concept of a time budget is you need to be able to think about if I execute this, whether it's power list or big three or pre-planning your day or all these different tools, if you can get your time budget in order and optimize your life. It's not about perfection, it's about optimization. But if you start optimizing time for your mental health, your physical health, your financial health, all of that, what gets better as a result? And sell yourself the dream and create a compelling future on here's all the things that could start to change. And then on the flip side, start talking about, well, what happens if I don't optimize this? One of my favorite things in our company overview presentation is when we talk about options that are available to people, we talk about, hey, if your next 5 years are the same as the last 5 years, you're going to get the same results. And Greg, if that's okay with you, that's okay with me. But if that's not okay with you, then we need to make some changes. You need to look at getting into business and increasing your income, or you need to look at getting a free financial review and seeing what it is that you can do. But if nothing changes, nothing changes. And if you're okay with nothing changing, that's okay. But if you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, you don't like being overweight, you don't like telling everybody how busy you are, it actually stresses you out. You're worried if you're doing enough. There's a constant anxiety, or you're wondering if you're going to be okay in the future. you're numbing yourself with drugs or alcohol or gambling or whatever your vice is to escape your life because you're scared of it or not happy with it, um, then make that the reason that you need to do this. So if you're fired up by chasing pleasure, then create a compelling future to run towards. If you're fired up by running from pain, then get super hyper aware of what happens if I don't make some changes. And I think that's part of why people don't move is they're either not drawn to something or they're not dissatisfied enough with current state to do something about it. And that's probably something we could talk about every episode. But in the concept of time, yes, it is super weird to sit here and have a Microsoft to-do list and a calendar and a habit share app where I pre-plan my day. It's super weird being a guy who's not crazy athletic to go in the gym with a workout app and I feel like an imposter because I'm like, I thought these types of apps were only for bodybuilders. Why am I even wasting time tracking this stuff? It's weird. It's uncomfortable. It's different. But maybe in society, we got to stop looking at different as a bad thing. And we start looking at different as prosperous. So that's all I got today. I'm curious to see your thoughts on that and how you close it off, Craig.
Look, this isn't about investing your time to become a high performer. We talked about that in last two episodes. What's the best that can happen if you invest your time and you start doing more productive things and you start doing things for yourself? You get them done and you start achieving your goals and you actually make a radical shift in your finances, in your physical, in your family life, in all these areas. And that's amazing. The worst that can happen, you did something for yourself. You did something for yourself. That could be at work, that could be at home, that could be in the gym. That's the worst. That's a pretty good worst case scenario, if you ask me. And yes, change is intimidating. And that's why, we put all these positive things in front of us and people don't do them because they're afraid of what's the best that can happen. And if we shift that mindset, it's not going to create you and it's not, like I said, it's not about becoming a high performer. For some people that might be the goal. But it's just about evolving and changing yourself to get out of wherever you are and move to where you want to be. So start planning out your priorities. Start looking at, if a 10-year goal is way too big for you, which for a lot of people it is, especially if you're in a season of life where you're stuck, you need change, you feel fat, sick, and nearly dead, and you're broke, all this. Okay, well, what can I do in 6 months? 6 months from now, where could I be? Well, I could consolidate that one debt that's been keeping me up at night. And if you focus on that for 6 months, that's an amazing amount of work that you're going to do, and it's going to create a huge impact. And yes, that's a financial goal, but it's going to improve every other area of your life. Because if that's your biggest stressor right now, that's where you need to put a bit more time, and then it's going to make you a better brother, husband, son, father. And then you have more time to invest because you're not solely burdened on that. So ask yourself, if you start investing your time better, what's the best that can happen?
I like it. Awesome. Hey, I appreciate the conversation, Craig, and we'll see you guys next week.
Sounds good, Coop. We'll see you, brother.